Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics on a Friday afternoon, shortly before the close, and an interesting day in the market because, as you can see, silver not only rallying, but especially based on what we've watched over the past couple of years, where usually you see it flatline towards the end of the day and carrying through on a Friday afternoon. A little unusual to see, but nice to see silver breaking through the $24 mark. A few quick stories about First Majestic and the silver supply chain, because First Majestic released earnings yesterday. And one of the interesting notes I found was down here. They withheld 1.4 million ounces of silver. At the end of the quarter, the company held 1.4 million ounces of silver in inventory due to suppressed silver prices in the third quarter. Silver sales are anticipated to resume in the fourth quarter. Furthermore, the company has not withheld sales of any of its gold production. So I love hearing that. And in fact, at Silverfest 2 last weekend, there were many people who asked about that. Keith talked about it a little bit. And sure enough, once again, unlike many of the bank CEOs on Wall Street, here is Keith not talking about it, but doing it and acting as many of his shareholders, including myself, like. So certainly you may want to take a look at that in the description field below. Also, First Majestic reports third quarter financial result and quarterly dividend payment. So just a note there. A few quick ones before we wrap up. This is a short video because later today we will be broadcasting a panel about the silver supply chain, fortunately enough. Now, I'm not saying that the silver price is up today because of those supply chain issues. I mean, this has been happening for a long time, but you add everything else that's going on in the world, the Let's Go Brandon movement, that now the largest primary silver miner is withholding supply. At the same time, silver imports in India hitting an almost a 7-year high. It's raining gold. No, it's a silver rush this festive season. Upbeat demand surged to nearly a 7-year high, and just another one to keep an eye on. We don't really get much data on China, or I don't, but there is a little data point on silver in India. Here, back in the United States, business groups asked White House to delay Biden COVID vaccine mandate until after the holidays. I've heard some folks suggest if anyone's giving you a COVID mandate, definitely don't fill out anything too early. I think a lot of these things could continue to get pushed back. Obviously, I don't know what decisions you should make on any of that, but reason I did have this here, they say the mandate, some of the business groups who asked him to wait, say the mandate could exacerbate labor shortages and supply chain problems. So business leaders noticing it here. Economists expect shipping problems to linger well into 2022. And again, as you see here, I don't know if CNBC or Wall Street believes that there's a silver supply chain issue, but as you've heard Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin, amongst others, talk about the reasons why it's almost an inevitability that we're heading there. Now you have this in the silver supply chain, so just pile that on. Plus, Federal Reserve Chair Powell's 5 measuring sticks on inflation aren't holding up very well, as anyone with common sense knew, although the only problem, and actually maybe he knew that too, and he's just been front running with his Goldman Fed governor buddies in the meantime. Or maybe they did know, but it's all part of the plan to move all bank deposits to the Fed and let the New York Fed short stocks. Isn't that what the economy needs? So there is that note. And with that said, one last note regarding not only First Majestic Silver, but Blackrock as well. Blackrock, another sponsor to the show, who was at Silverfest 2, had a lot of fun with Andrew Pollard and hearing more about what he's been up to. They were pleased to announce the completion of a non-brokered private placement. It was gross proceeds of Canadian 7 million. And First Majestic Silver was a large investor in that deal. Let's see. I remember reading it on the press release, but investment, $2 million Canadian investment from First Majestic Silver. Heard Dave Kramsler talk about Blackrock Silver. A bunch of folks talked about it over the weekend, but now we see First Majestic putting a claim in. So anyway, some great news from First Majestic and Blackrock, especially at the time that silver rallying a little bit, whether we're finally getting close to some sort of more realistic silver pricing, we will see. I think when you add into things that are happening with this COVID mandates and the vaccines, also seeing Moderna get absolutely slaughtered over the last 2 days. Big losses there. And I don't think that's going to be the only vaccine maker to experience big losses. Again, that's just my opinion, not legal financial advice. But in either case, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because we did a roundtable with Bill Holter, Andy Schechtman, and a few others on the silver supply chain, touch on these issues a little more. And that's going to be coming up a little bit later today. So hope you're having a great Friday. If you're at an office, flee it soon and get home. And later on tonight, or even before that, the panel with Bill Holter, Andy Schechtman, and more about the silver supply chain will be coming your way.